Hello, everyone. How are you? We're live. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Wendy Myers of myersdetox.com. And I'm so excited because I wanted to do a webinar to talk about the future of detox. I wanted to talk about just a lot of different topics surrounding detoxification because I love educating people about detox. And I wanted to talk about dispelling some myths about detox and talking about some things that you really need to know to be able to detox correctly. So today I'm going to be talking about, how there's a lot of ancient detox practices, but how deep do they really go? Are they good enough? And what still works and why methods that worked in the past may not work as well today and why. And I'm going to talk about the biggest problem with most detox supplements and why, a shotgun approach usually fails, where you're just trying all these different things to detox, all these different supplements, or doing a 10-day detox in a box, and why that usually doesn't work. I'm going to talk about the 5 types of metal testing that you must consider before any detox. You don't need to do all of them, but you should consider at least one and do that, and why testing doesn't have to cost a fortune, and how to get your toxic load diagnosed quickly and affordably. And I want to talk about my 4 methods for enhancing mitochondrial functioning and energy production. Our mitochondria make our body's energy, and I do this in 4 unconventional ways because you have to have energy to detox. So you have to maximize energy production in order to detox. And I want to talk about my favorite new breakthroughs that are going to revolutionize detox. So I'm so happy that you're here and that you guys join me. And I want you guys to ask questions. So you guys can raise your hand. There's a little button with a hand on it, and you can actually speak to me. You'll be able to ask me questions on the air. So please make a request to speak to me. You can also leave a comment or leave a chat. So I want you guys to please leave a comment, and I will answer your question. We also will have moderators that will be answering your questions as well. But don't worry, if you miss any part of this or you tuned in late, you can watch the replay. You'll get an email with the replay, so don't worry about that. So let's get started. So there's a lot of ancient detox practices out there, but how deep do they really go? So I'm going to talk about fasting. I'm going to talk about herbs for detox. I'm going to talk about sweating and why they work and why they don't. So number 1, fasting. One of the issues with fasting is that you need fiber, mainly from vegetables, to serve as a metal binder. So I always encourage people to eat at least 5 servings of vegetables a day. So just a fistful. When you're eating your food, you want to think about having maybe 2 fistfuls of vegetables or salad or whatever the case may be on your plate. So that's kind of my rule for every meal. I try to have 2 servings of vegetables, and you get in the 5 servings. You need that fiber. And so if you're fasting, you're not going to get that. And it also can be dangerous to fast if you're really metal toxic. Dr. Mercola pointed out that people trying to fast with high toxin levels and not having the energy or nutrient support to do so end up doing more damage. So you can end up causing a lot of problems because if you fast for, say, longer than 12 hours, and definitely more than 24 hours, you actually throw a wrench in your detox ability. Your detox enzymes don't work as well. You need micronutrients to detox. All the cellular processes and enzymatic processes in the cell have to have nutrients. And I think today we're so mineral deficient and nutrient deficient as it is. Fasting, especially if you're very, very ill, can be problematic, at least if your goal is to try to detox. So what good does fasting do for the liver that it has an important elimination and detox job to do? Nothing really, because the enzymes that detox you are completely different from the enzymes needed to process food. These are completely different enzymes. They're totally separate. So fasting has no really direct impact on your detox enzymes. It doesn't help them or promote them. And so the liver cells don't necessarily work better to detox if they're not processing food. But is the thing. So fasting does have benefits. Fasting for less than 12 hours, like doing intermittent fasting, very, very healthy. But it also depends on your health goals. Like if you have a lot of pain or inflammation, fasting can bring that pain down. If you have, diabetes, fasting can help to lower your blood sugar. So there's different benefits, but it depends on your health goals. If you are wanting to detox and do it correctly, fasting doesn't really play a huge role in that, in my opinion. And for all the reasons I stated above. And so herbs. So herbs are great, but many of them today are not strong enough for all of the metals that people have today, the amounts of metals. And there's herbs for chelating metals. So these metals will grab onto toxins and pull them out of your tissues. But you can't just eat detox foods like cilantro, for instance, though that helps. It's a little bit of cilantro, the herbs, cilantro, the leaves are helpful. But improving detoxability is about increasing the concentration of sulfahydryl groups in herbs. And so these are groups that help to detox you, but they don't have the same potency in the herbs as they do, say, in the extract. So the herb leaf, take cilantro for instance, it's not strong enough to have much of a detox impact. It helps, every little bit helps, but you need a lot of the active ingredient for an herb to have maximum detox effect. That's why you need lots of extracts of herbs like cilantro extract. That's what I have in my CitraCleanse. It's a cilantro extract in this toxin binder. And herbs also, you need a lot more of to have the same detox effect. That they contain chemicals. If they're not organic, so you want to make sure if you're eating an herb, it's organic. And there could be an ingredient in them that could be harmful in large amounts. So with any supplement you take, you have to weigh the pros and cons of taking that. So while a large amount of an herbal extract can detox you, depending on the extract, it can also have toxic effects. So you have to weigh that as well. And then you have to think about, Chinese and Indian herbs, herbs grown in China and India. They're notorious for having lead contamination. In India, lead is actually added to turmeric to increase its weight, so the farmer gets more money for it. And then there's Chinese herbs that are used in traditional Chinese medicine. And while these are amazing practitioners, you just never know what you're getting as far as Chinese herbs for detox. There's amazing Chinese herbs for detoxification, but they're just notorious for heavy metal contamination. So I warn people against taking herbs from China and India. And unless they have, third-party lab testing, which, good luck with that. And and so you really, also have to think about the fact that today, because people are so metal toxic, herbs are not always going to be as strong enough for everyone. So I give herbs to my clients. I take herbs myself. But for some people, they require stronger substances than herbs alone or chelating herbs. So there's things like EDTA or DMSA. These are amino acids that act like chelators that grab heavy metals that are deep in stored sites in the body. They're just deeply embedded. The body has tucked them away over years. They're not easily coaxed out of the tissues, out of the organs, out of the brain. You need strong chelators. So about a quarter of the people that I work with need EDTA. And this is just like a synthetic amino acid. They need that to get better. About less than a quarter need DMSA. And these people have metals that will only be removed by these stronger substances, especially if they're very, very ill. They need to get these toxins out very quickly. And then they can finish off with some herbs. But for instance, if you've had mercury fillings for decades or been picking out on tuna sandwiches, you might need a stronger mercury chelator than someone who didn't have silver mercury fillings. So there's a couple ways to detox. There's the slow route and then there's the fast route. So the route you go just depends on your health and your pocketbook and your personal choice. So the slow route is, gentle route with herbs and minerals only, but this can take 2 to 3 or more years. But safe and slow is the name of the game. There's nothing wrong with that. But some people do need to go the fast route, where it's like a hybrid of DMSA or EDTA or both, and they finish up with the herbs. And so this can take a lot less time, about 1 to 2 years going that route. So it just depends. Some people are really, really ill. They can't tolerate DMSA or EDTA. Everyone's a little bit different. But I prefer evaluating people on an individual basis regarding what they can tolerate and what their preferences are. And so it's just, while herbs are amazing, today many toxins just are not going to come out of the body with just herbs, because some metals they cannot come out with herbs alone. For instance, cadmium. Cadmium is a metal that causes more cancers than all of the other metals combined. This is a metal that's found exactly where mercury is, in migratory fish, in shellfish. It's also in the air. It gets into the air from coal burning. A lot of different places that cadmium can enter our bodies. And herbs they really are not going to remove it. I've noticed this working with thousands of clients. Our medical director has worked with thousands of patients. He's, a 35-year practicing medical doctor, Dr. Bruce Jones, and he oversees our patients as well. And some of them, the cadmium will not come out without EDTA. So you need EDTA to get out cadmium, because it's the most effective agent to remove this metal. And so that's just, one example. There's many others. Some people have, just a tremendous amount of mercury, or they have other metals like tungsten, or just some odd metals that are just, there's not a lot of research based on herbs and what removes them. And so the next thing is sweating. So sweating is something that's been used for millennia to detox people, but sweating alone can never be the primary way of detoxing. It's not enough today. We have way too many metals in the body. The body won't release toxins, no matter how much sauna you're doing, if you don't have the right minerals, if you don't have chelators. Binders really help, but that alone is not going to do it, though it helps. And so I just did a webinar recently on infrared saunas. I'm not going to go on too deeply to it here. If you go on myersdetox.com, on any page, there's a link on the sidebar, infrared sauna Q&A. We did a 3-hour lecture on infrared saunas and near versus far versus sweating and exercise and, steam rooms and all the differences. So that's the place you want to go if you want to do a deep dive on infrared saunas. But just the, touching on it, I prefer near infrared saunas. Near infrared saunas give you the most benefits, it's the best, way to spend your time, the most detox bang for your buck. Far infrared saunas are amazing. I usually encourage people to add a near infrared component to it, like a bulb or an LED near infrared light panel to their far infrared sauna if they have one, because the sweat from infrared saunas is far more productive or full of toxins than if you just are sitting in a regular sauna, or if you're just sweating or exercising, doing power yoga or whatever you're doing. Plain old sweating does get toxins out just a little bit, but you're going to have far, far more metals, and your time is much better spent in an infrared sauna, preferably a near infrared sauna. And all of these need binders for maximum impact. And so that's just really the best way to go about doing a sauna. And so I'm going to get to all of your questions in a second. You guys have tons and tons of questions, but I will get to them. Oh, wow, there's a lot of people on. So we have about 168 people. And remember, you can raise your hand and ask me a question. I've actually never used this feature before. So actually, I'm going to, so Charlie, I'm going to allow you to speak now. So Charlie Ray, do you want to ask a question? Are you on the air? I accept your request. I'm not really sure how to use that feature, but well, if you're on, say hi. So back to my lecture here. So even when using these conventional detox methods, what worked in the past doesn't work as well now for a few different reasons. So there's just modern challenges that are roadblocks to detox. So there's energy production issues because you need energy to detox, and there's nutrient absorption issues. You need certain nutrients to detox. And so for the energy production issues, there's poor nutrition. Even if you're eating an amazing diet, diets today tend to be nutrient deficient because the soil is deficient. So you can be eating an amazing dinner, that the same exact dinner your grandmother ate, it's going to have 5, 10 times or even more the amount of nutrients in what you're eating. It's just a reality of modern life today. That's why it's important to eat nutrient-dense foods, and you have to take supplements to meet your nutritional demands, especially minerals. And a lot of people have increased infections that sap energy. There's just a rife of, an epidemic of Lyme disease, Lyme-like infections, parasitic infections, candida, and all kinds of infections that love low energy bodies that thrive in these nutrient deficient, low energy bodies, and those sap your energy, fighting them. And then there's antibiotics. Antibiotic use kill mitochondria. Our mitochondria are bacteria, essentially. They evolved from bacteria, and antibiotics kill them. So people that are on long-term antibiotics as children or adults, or just recurrent use for whatever reason, inadvertently kill off their body's ability to make energy. So a lot of people report to me that they had an acute infection or an illness, and then that was the beginning of their downward spiral in health. Usually that illness was followed by a large round of antibiotics or repeated antibiotic use to try to zap that infection that may or may not have worked. But that kills your ability to make energy. So metals also block energy production. I talk about this, I've talked about it till I'm blue in the face, but, metals like arsenic, aluminum, tin, thallium, and cesium, and antimony block your body's ability to make energy. They poison enzymes that transport nutrients into your mitochondria and block energy production. Mercury, lead also block energy production in different ways. So there's that. And then there's EMF. EMF saps your energy. It interferes in your body's, communication system. You have an energy field in your body. Your body communicates to a large degree in this energy field that we have. All the communications we have in our body cannot be accounted for physically. All the energy the mitochondria make and the body uses cannot be accounted for by the physical amount of energy the mitochondria make. There's people that have done calculations with this, like the amount of energy the mitochondria make versus what the body uses and utilizes. Those two things do not match up because there's energy being made in our body's energy field. If you can grasp at that quantum physical level, we have, there's a quantum physical field in our body where a lot of things are happening. And so EMF largely disrupts that communication system, and it really zaps our energy. It just really vibrates, jackhammers our pineal gland, so we're not making melatonin to sleep. Therefore, we can't restore and regenerate very well. And over time, that just saps our energy and our health. And then also as we age, our mitochondria just, die. They pass on over time, and we have fewer and fewer as we get older. So we have to do everything we can to maximize mitochondria production, energy production. And so those are kind of the roadblocks to energy production, all of which throw a wrench in detox. So you have to have strategies to maximize energy production so that you can detox effectively. And then there's absorption issues that our grandmothers were not dealing with this stuff. Okay. Our grandmothers were not dealing with all of these issues related to energy production or absorption issues. And so the first issue with absorption is stress. Just stress in and of itself will reduce production of hydrochloric acid, reduce production of pancreatic enzymes, and just generally, reduce nutrient absorption. And then there's antibiotics in our environment that kill your good gut bacteria and the bacteria that are producing nutrients in your stomach. They just will allow the overgrowth of pathogenic bacteria. If there's not enough good bacteria, you can get candida, yeast overgrowth, other types of pathogenic bacteria, all interfering in your nutrient production and absorption. And then there's glyphosate, which is a Roundup Ready herbicide. It's sprayed on 70 different foods and conventional foods, makes its way onto some organic foods, and inadvertently, if the organic farm is right next to the conventional farm where they're spraying. And the glyphosate is an antibiotic. It kills good gut bacteria. It also chelates minerals. It removes minerals from your body. And then there's chlorine in your shower water, chlorine in your pool, in your jacuzzi, in your bath water. Most cities in the US have chlorine added, or chloramine, which is a cheaper ingredient used to sterilize and kill bacteria. And it does that to your gut as well. And then there's mercury fillings. The mercury, that every time you bite down on that, it gets into your gut. That kills good gut bacteria. Other heavy metals will kill gut bacteria, like silver will kill gut bacteria that you're getting from fillings also. But there's other metals that do that. Metals also will inhibit production of hydrochloric acid and digestive enzyme production, pancreatic enzymes. And zinc deficiency will also reduce production of those digestive juices. And then not only that, but a lot of people, they have leaky gut. Why do they have leaky gut? Part of the reason is because of all the things I just listed, but it can also because that thin lining of your gut, the desmosomes, the single cell lining of your gut, that takes a lot of energy, a lot of ATP, the energy currency in your body, to hold those tight junctions together. And when you don't make enough ATP, for all these reasons I just stated, and you're not well, you're fatigued, eventually your gut lining it doesn't have the energy to hold itself together. And so that's another reason it's critically important to increase energy production to prevent and rehabilitate from leaky gut. And so given all of that, even if you are, doing a detoxification, doing a detox in a box, or taking detox supplements, or trying to do something on your own, even if you're taking lots of supplements, lots of minerals and antioxidants and vitamin C and whatever else you're taking, the needle may not be moving because you're not absorbing these nutrients. So you can be doing all this stuff from your health, and the needle isn't moving for you. And that can be why. So these are things that just weren't a factor, a few decades ago even. And so these are things we have to consider and address when doing a detox. And it can take a very skilled practitioner to be able to do that. And so one of the challenges is that the modern chemicals and in such extreme levels of exposure require more advanced approaches in detoxification. And this is why I'm so big on cutting edge heavy metal and detox diagnostics and testing. And there's 5 types of heavy metals testing that you must consider before doing any type of detox. You don't need all of them, but you should consider them all and just pick at least one. And so my first one, my favorite one, is HTMA, or hair mineral analysis. And this is really why testing doesn't have to cost a fortune. You can get your toxic load diagnosed quickly and affordably with an HTMA. We have ones that are $99 on myersdetox.com, and very, very affordable, very simple to do. And I love HTMA, or hair mineral analysis, because it's a great screening tool. It's not the end all be all for metals testing, but it's an incredibly accurate tool. It's used in all the sciences to figure out what metals and minerals are in, like, moon rocks, or geologists use them. The mass spectrometry used in HTMA is used in all of the sciences because it's accurate. And so the body excretes metals and excess minerals that can be toxic in excess into the hair, and excretes minerals. And then we can get a really good picture of a lot of different indices. So we can look at your stress levels. We can look at your overall health. Like, if all your minerals are low, people tend to be in trouble. We can look at how well you're detoxing or not detoxing, see the mineral levels you have, what minerals you really, really need and what amounts, and see your heavy metals, so we know exactly what supplements to give you. So it's a really, really key tool. I'm going to be having a lot more articles and information and blog posts about HTMA, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there about its accuracy, and that's really based on people that don't know how to read it or haven't been trained on how to read it. And I aim to change that. I want to educate medical doctors and you guys about how to read hair mineral analysis. So lots of more information coming out about that. And then there's urine tests. So urine stool metals analysis gives us a different set of data. We can see metals like gadolinium, we can see cesium with urine, we can see thallium, we can see lead and nickel, and a lot of different metals that are not seen on a hair mineral analysis. So urine is an amazing test, not a standalone test by any means, but again, gives us a tremendous amount of information, because different metals come out in different ways. Some come out in the hair, some come out in the urine, some come out in the stool. So in an ideal world, we want to look at all three of those tests to get the best picture of your body burden of metals. And with that said, a stool test is the best way to see cadmium toxicity and silver toxicity. We can also see lead that way as well, very well. And cadmium is that metal I talked about earlier, where that causes more cancers than all of the other metals combined. And that's why smokers get cancer. It's because of the cadmium in the cigarettes. This is why people who smoke a lot of marijuana, like Bob Marley, get lung cancer, because the cadmium in the marijuana, just like any medicine, it has its pros and cons. But cadmium, I believe everyone has some in their body. I've never done a stool test and not seen extremely high levels of cadmium. I think it's happened maybe once. And we don't see cadmium in the urine, and we don't see it in the hair. So that's why it can be really key to do all three of those tests. And then there's your detox genetics. So these are really key to figuring out what, if phase 1 of detox isn't working well, if phase 2 detox pathways aren't working well, if phase 3 aren't working well. And then based on that analysis, we can figure out what supplements and where they need support. And that really gives us a lot of answers, especially if someone's been very, very ill for a long time. And so those are key. And then bioenergetics is something that I'm absolutely in love with. There's a company called Ness Health Bioenergetics, and this is a scan that you really very futuristic technology. There's 45 years of research behind it, and I've been doing it for a couple of years, and I've been just begging all my clients to do it and try it and take that leap. And then they're always just so shocked by, one, the amount of information they get from the scan, how eerily accurate it is, and then how quickly they feel better after starting a protocol based on the scan. I was certainly taken aback by it when I started doing it. Within the first 30 days, I started feeling so much better, so much different, more energy and better sleep, and better mood. And I was really taken aback by it. I was really surprised by the results that I had. And I vetted it for about 6 months, like I do with anything that I recommend, before I recommend it to you guys. And then I started using it with my client population, especially those that were really, really ill, especially those that had, immune system dysregulation, that had autoimmune, that had really bad food sensitivities, people that really couldn't detox, people that can't take supplements because they're too sensitive. I mean, I was just so frustrated. Like, what do I do with these people? I'm doing tests. We see they have metals, but they can't take any supplements. They can't take medications. They're like limited on the amount of foods that they can eat because their immune system is so overreactive to totally innocuous stimuli. So I was very frustrated professionally with wanting to help these people, but they really couldn't do much. And so Ness Health Bioenergetics gave me a tool where they could start doing something that just had amazing results so quickly. Like, for instance, I was working with Sterling Hill. She's the owner of mthfrsupport.com. She's a genetics expert. I mean, she's a savant when it comes to genetics. And she credits Ness Health Bioenergetics with saving her life, because I did a scan on her, and she was at a point where she couldn't leave her house. She couldn't eat greens, no green foods, because they gave her reactions. She was having tremendous anxiety. She couldn't really work. She was terrified she was going to lose her business, and just was barely just dragging herself out of bed. And I started doing Ness Health with her. I started seeing her post on Facebook and how she was just really crying out for help. And I worked on her for about a year. I finally got her to do a Ness Health scan. And within a week, she was able to leave her house. Her anxiety levels came down tremendously. She was able to start eating greens. I mean, she was very ill, so she got really, really spectacular results. And so she was really, really happy, really taken aback. And like I said, credits Ness Health with saving her life. And so you can see her, post on Facebook. She's constantly talking about Ness. It's great. And so there's lots of other people I've worked with doing Ness Health. I've worked with Dr. Joe Mercola personally, doing Ness Health. He uses Ness Health every single day. And I worked with Ben Greenfield, Katie the Wellness Mama. I've just really tried to get the word out there about it, because bioenergetics is the wave of the future. It's the medicine of the future. And so Ness Health is leading the charge on that. And so those are my 5 favorite tests for heavy metal testing, because in Ness Health, when you do that scan, you can see a lot of different metals and chemicals. It's actually a really big page of toxins that your body isn't metabolizing very well. So it gives us some idea of your metal toxicities and what your body's not handling well. But this testing allows us to be laser focused and use a sniper approach in our detox. And when you do this, you save a lot of time and money and wasted effort going to doctor after doctor, going to functional medical practitioners that aren't looking at toxins, or maybe don't know how to detox you, even if they are doing metals tests and IV chelation or whatever they're doing. Because when you do tests and you do the right tests, you only buy the supplements that you need. Because when I was first figuring out my health and trying different things and getting excited about things, I read about turmeric and, oh my God, buy that turmeric, and oh my God, it's resveratrol. And I would get excited about, just whatever it was, the supplement I was reading an article about. And I just had all these supplements and I really didn't know which ones I really needed. I didn't really know how long I should take this one or that one. I really didn't know the importance or priority of supplements, and what I should be focusing on and what are best for me. And so when you do this type of metals testing, you end up only buying the supplements that you need, the minerals that you need, the detox supplements to remove the exact metals that you have. And so that's really key and saves a lot of time and money. And then you also get the right form of a supplement, because lots of forms do not work. So for instance, there's alpha lipoic acid versus alpha lipoate. And so alpha lipoic acid is a very good supplement. It's water soluble lipoic acid, but it's not nearly effective as sodium R-lipoate, which is 20 times more effective for detox, or up to 20 times. And so when you make these little distinctions, like you do by taking the right supplements, by taking the right form, you save a lot of money and time and effort. And you also, it really also helps to decipher between mineral and supplement quality and efficacy. Like, for instance, with selenium, there's lots of different forms of selenium on the market. The only one that I've ever seen work is S-E-methylselenocysteine. There's a product by Life Extension that's I highly recommend. Or you can eat 2 Brazil nuts. So you either need to take the right form of selenium, or you can save the money and just eat 2 Brazil nuts a day. Every single one of my clients that eats 2 Brazil nuts has perfect selenium levels. And then there's liposomal supplements. So if you take just glutathione that's in, a lot of detox supplements, all-in-one detox supplements, and if it's not the right form, if it's not a reduced glutathione, it's not going to work or do anything. And if it's in a liposomal, if it's in a fat gel, the gel is basically a fat, phosphatidylcholine, that glutathione is going to work 2 to 3 times, maybe even more, as well as it would if it was not in a liposomal base. And so there's all these different distinctions that need to be made that you as a layperson may have a tough time kind of deciphering. But if you work with a practitioner, it can really take shape a lot of learning curve off of what you're doing for your health, and certainly shaves off a lot of time, the learning curve if you work with a detox practitioner, if you're trying to detox. So just save you a lot of time and money that way. And then also, as far as supplements, people need minerals, and they don't focus on this much on their own with buying supplements. The reason is because a lot of people in the health space don't, market minerals, because they're not going to make as much money, or they're not very sexy, or people aren't that interested. Like, they're not like, oh my God, magnesium, this is like the best form of magnesium ever. People aren't really drawn towards, magnesium or zinc or things of that nature. And I think calcium has been wrongly vilified, on the internet and whatnot. But, people need to focus on minerals in their supplementation protocol and may not be aware of that. And so that's what I hope to change. And so also, when you do testing, you only do the therapies for your specific toxins, like taking the supplements you need that are shown in the research to remove the specific heavy metals and toxins that you have. So you can really focus in on your supplement protocol. And most importantly, you'll get the exact results that you want. You'll see the metals that you have and remove those metals, taking the supplements that remove those toxins. And so that's going to get you what you want. You're not here listening to me because you're just dying to detox. You want to feel better. You want to remove your fatigue. You want to get rid of your brain fog. You want your memory to work again. You want to be able to participate in your relationships. You want to be able to go back to work. You want to be able to perform at work. You want to be able to have a conversation with someone, an intelligent conversation. That was certainly one of my goals at one point. Because when I first started on my health journey, I didn't go out and socialize or call people up, because I couldn't find the words. I couldn't recall words or recall information. I just felt like I was just struggling to have a conversation. And so I know a lot of you guys are struggling with that. And it's very, very frustrating, especially when you are a high performer in college or in your 20s or in your 30s or what have you. Losing that intellectual ability can be devastating, and not only to your self-esteem, but just in your work performance or what have you. So you're detoxing, or you're wanting to get the results, and to get results, you have to do it right. And you can shave off a lot of time and money and effort just by doing the testing and taking the right supplements that you need. And so let's talk about some new testing that I'm super excited about. So, number one is detox DNA. So, looking at your detox genetics, this is not really new, but there's been a lot of increase in research on our detox genetics. When 23andMe first came out, they didn't really have a ton of stuff on detox genetics. But as the years have gone on, there's much more research. There's much more research that needs to be done. But we do have a lot more information that shows us our ability to detox or not. And then there's Nest Health Bioenergetics. That's my secret weapon in getting the body to detox easier, better, and faster. And then there's fluoride, chlorine, and bromine testing. And so this is really helpful because these are things called halogens that wipe out thyroid function. And also will tell us this test why you need iodine to detox and like if you need iodine or not. I believe most people do need iodine, but some people don't. So it's a good idea to do testing to see what levels of iodine you need and your levels of these halogens like fluoride and chlorine, which most water supplies are added to, and then we shower in these toxins every single day, and they inhibit our thyroid function. And then now I'm doing a liver function test. It's a test that shows, how your liver needs to be supported to maximize detox. And so first, I just want to go down that list, but let's talk about the detox genetics a little bit. So, and I want to just give you an overview of what doing your detox genetics can show you. Our genetics give us information about what your body is good at doing and not good at doing. And knowing your detox genetics can really help you have an advantage over those that aren't in improving their detox ability or their comfort while doing a detox, or even their ability to do a detox in the first place. So we can know by doing your genetics testing if your detox pathways are working or not. There are certain things called SNPs and SNPs, or single nucleotide polymorphisms. They're just mutations. And these SNPs can reduce the efficacy or the efficiency of the detox genes. And they can explain if someone is really sick. So if you have someone that's been chronically ill for years, it can give you insights as to why that's the case. And so you discover the reasons by seeing the mutations in your methylation genes and your detox genes. And so just to give you like a little, overview of phase 1, phase 2, and 3 in your detox pathways, every cell can detox to a degree. Kidney cells can detox, pancreatic cells can detox, and their ability to detox depends on how well their detox enzymes are working. Brain cells need to have a lot of detox enzymes, but they only have about 3/4 of the detox enzymes that we have in our body. The liver has the most complete set to detox. And so that's why we can't survive without a liver. They have the whole set of detox enzymes. And the liver's and the organs' detox limitations are genetic, and so is your ability to detox. So let's talk a little bit about how detox happens in cells. So phase 1 has over 60 detox enzymes. These are called P450 enzymes. And they kind of are exemplified by how some people can handle caffeine, how some handle drugs, how some food chemicals and additives and preservatives are metabolized through our body. And your ability to handle or metabolize these toxins are inherited from your parents and your grandparents. For example, like some people can drink coffee at midnight and it doesn't keep them awake, or others can drink it at 2 p.m., but they'll be up all night long. Other people can drink alcohol, but they can drink a fifth of vodka and then wake up and go to work the next morning. And so, we all know those people, met those people, and more power to them. They win the liver Olympics. But if you have limitations or mutations in these P450 enzymes, these detox enzymes in phase 1, that's not going to be you. And so we can learn that by doing your detox genetics and then supplementing around that and supporting phase one. In phase two, this allows toxic molecules to be made water soluble to be removed through the bile in the kidneys. And so once the liver has packaged up this little toxin for exit, it has two possibilities. So some go to the small intestine and gallbladder to be absorbed by the bile, and others break down toxins to excrete them into the bloodstream to go out via the kidneys and the urine. And phase two detox genetics can break down in a few ways. And number one, glutathione. These people won't make enough glutathione if they have a mutation in these enzymes. And glutathione is like a tag that attaches onto toxins, tagging it for removal. And a lot of people don't make enough glutathione, especially not enough to handle all the toxins that we have in our bodies. So upregulating someone's ability to produce glutathione or give them glutathione, critically important in detox. And then there's glucuronidation, and this is how most estrogens are metabolized. And if this is impaired, you'll have excess estrogen in your body. And this can make people susceptible to breast cancer, for instance, or make people overweight, because the more estrogen you have, the more weight you're going to have. It's why women have a nice layer of fat on us as opposed to men. It's what makes us curvy and beautiful. But if you have an impaired ability to metabolize this excess estrogen, you're going to have problems. So things like, calcium deglucarate can help to promote this process, allowing estrogens to be recycled or metabolized or eliminated. And also if you have MTHFR, if you have a SNP or a mutation in MTHFR, this will have an impact on your ability to detox estrogens as well. And you'll have trouble breaking down xenoestrogens or synthetic estrogens and sulfurs as well. And xenoestrogens are like plastics and perfumes and phthalates and parabens and things like that, preservatives and beauty products, for instance. And there's phase three. And this is how toxins are detoxed out of cells or removed from cells and what can go wrong genetically. So phase three detox involves 14 or more exporter genes that they're transporters on cell surfaces that get rid of toxins from the body. So when this goes wrong, people can have trouble detoxing chemotherapy, or cancer drugs can make you very, very ill, versus someone that has mild side effects, if any, to the same amount of chemotherapy drug. And also, autistic children tend to have genetic mutations in phase three transporter genes because they can't excrete heavy metals. So again, people very, very ill or react very badly to drugs and chemotherapy drugs, they can have genetic mutations of this nature. And so if we see phase one genetically not doing so well, we can support someone with broccoli sprouts, with sulfur-based foods, with green tea, with dandelion, and these will help upregulate and improve phase one detox. And if someone's not doing well genetically in phase two, we can support this with things like glutathione, with NAC, N-acetylcysteine, which will kind of is a raw basic building block to glutathione. And we can also give them taurine. There's other substances, but just to give you an example of how we can optimize phase two, if we see there's a genetic mutation there. And so people who get really sick and they can't find an explanation, they usually have the cards stacked against them genetically in phase two. They can't break down toxins, and so they can't remove them. And so based on genetics, we can see where they need support and what supplements may not work for them. And so this is why I incorporate all of these tests into my platinum coaching program. So I'm so excited about, all of these different tests, and I wanted to bring them all together into one program that you guys can do. And so I'm going to show that to you right now. And I'm just really proud to be able to bring this to you guys. It just click on this link here. This will give you some more information about my brand new platinum coaching program. So just click on this link. It says secure your spot. I have about 15 spots available to work with people. And if what I'm saying to you resonates with you, I urge you to take this opportunity to work with me. I really feel like this is the last time that I'm going to be taking new clients. I'm just super, super busy. I have a lot of really exciting projects on the horizon. I'm going to be opening the Detox Institute soon. I've been working for 3 years on these courses with our medical director, Dr. Bruce Jones. And once I get really busy with that, I'm not going to have as much time to dedicate myself one-on-one with seeing clients. So I know I've said this, 1 or 2 times before, but I take clients and then we kind of see them. I do like a 6-month program or more with them, and then they're good to go. They're on their way to detox. They can do stuff on their own. And so I find myself wanting to continue to take new clients and work with them. So I'm doing this offer for you guys. So a little bit about my platinum coaching program. It's for anyone that has tried detoxes in the past and really it has not worked for them. They feel like they try all different kinds of things, go to all different kinds of doctors. They try the functional medical route. That doesn't work for them as well. Or they've just tried detoxes. They just feel terrible after they try detox. These are the people that need hand-holding. These are the people that need someone with that 360-degree view that can figure out exactly what they're doing wrong, exactly what metals they have, exactly where their genetic weaknesses are, so that we can create a program to sidestep all of those issues that they're having and get their body detoxing. Because I know there's so many people out there that are very, very ill, they're very frustrated and are just desperate to get better. And I think a lot of you guys are listening out there and, that resonates with you. And so I urge you guys to just really be thinking about heavy metals as an underlying root cause and chemicals. And the more sick you are, usually it's more, genetic mutations affecting phase 1, 2, and 3, or all of the above that are causing this. So we need to, do your genetics to figure out what is going on with you and what we can do about it. And also doing something like Nest Health Bioenergetics, that moves the needle so much for people. Like say people have done different types of metals testing and they've tried to do detox and they feel really fine on them, but or people that try to detox and really don't feel so good, or they're having nutrient absorptions or immune system issues, and they just feel like that they have this inertia that they just can't get out of this rut. Nest Health helps, gives them that push to get out of that rut, to get out of that just this revolving door where they feel like no matter what they do, it isn't working. And I also love Nest Health because the bioenergetic program that we do, because for many people, they have emotional issues. They have trauma. They have death of loved ones. They have depression, or they have just other traumas, abuse, sexual or physical or emotional, that is preventing them from getting better. And when you're working with people on, just say someone's doing functional medicine, it's certainly a huge upgrade from conventional medicine. They all the different practices have their place. But if there's no really no methods to address emotional trauma in functional medicine for the most part. And so I think it's really incredibly important if people are feeling bad, they have fatigue or brain fog or what have you. A lot of people are searching for a physical answer. And if that has been you and nothing has really worked, you might want to start thinking about doing a bioenergetic program to help identify and very simply and elegantly address emotional trauma. And that can give people a huge push, a breakthrough. I've had so many clients just think Nest Health is just total BS. And they just do it because I say, just trust me, do it, just try it and see how it works for you. Just see for yourself. And they try it and they just have this huge breakthrough. And it's just so gratifying for me to see people, take that leap of faith and try it, and then just get so much better, because it's for people that are really chronically fatigued. Nest can help feed their body the energy it needs to get better, and just does a lot of things. It's kind of hard to put into words, but it's just doing a lot of things at the same time that really helps people to get out of their state, especially if they're very, very ill. And so just a little, overview of my platinum coaching program. Number one, I really try to focus in on optimizing mitochondrial functioning. Because even if you have to detox, or even if you need to heal your body, or whatever your health issue is, you have to have energy. Energy is the name of the game. And we have to optimize mitochondrial functioning. So I have 4 different ways that I do that when I'm working with clients. So number one, I use a brand of supplements that were developed for the Mars 500 cosmonauts, because astronauts get a lot of mitochondrial damage and aging when they're doing space travel. They're exposed to a lot of radiation. And so these are supplements that were developed for these cosmonauts to repair mitochondrial damage. And, short of flying in space, when you're taking these type of mitochondrial supplements, they repair the mitochondrial receptors, not only in your mitochondria, but also in your thyroid and your adrenal glands. So people are just able to optimize and utilize their thyroid hormones and adrenal stress hormones and nutrients for mitochondria as well. And it just dramatically upregulates their energy production. And also on the program, we clear metals interfering in your mitochondrial functioning. So the arsenic, aluminum, tin, thallium, and cesium. Detoxing really helps to remove these metals that are roadblocks to mitochondrial energy production. Also, your mitochondria work by light. So by using near infrared saunas, that dramatically helps to charge up the biophotons, which are kind of like little storage cells, little battery cells in the mitochondria. So that's another way that we charge up the mitochondria. Going in the sun also does the same thing. You have to go in the sun. And bioenergetically, working on the quantum physical level with Nest Health, that dramatically also helps to increase mitochondrial functioning as well, sending correct operating instructions, so to speak, to the mitochondria as well. So that's kind of a simple explanation. And so when you do my platinum coaching program, all of the tests that I mentioned today are included in this program, including individual consults with me to review all the test results and make recommendations, creating a targeted supplement protocol based only on what you need. And so in doing that, that can save you thousands and thousands of dollars every year on taking supplements that you don't need. And also you get calls and support with me. The platinum coaching program, you get 7 hours of coaching calls with me. And I also review your case with our medical director, Dr. Bruce Jones. He's a 35-year practicing medical doctor. He's a physician that became very ill from lead and mercury poisoning, got very depressed, nothing worked, and he found detox and has just been studying it furiously ever since. He's very passionate about it, loves helping people, and I review our cases with him because he always sheds some amazing light on cases and the underlying root causes of people's health issues, because he can make that correlation between odd medical issues, maybe medical issues that a lot of people wouldn't know are caused by heavy metals. So I review cases with him. And then we also give you access to the Myers Detox Protocol course, because we'll have 7 hours together. But there's a lot to learning about the right diet to eat, how to reduce stress, how much exercise do you do when you're trying to detox, in depth about infrared saunas and other detox protocols. So doing this course, it's a video course and text as well. And you get tons and tons of instructional sheets and guide sheets and meal plans and a cookbook, and just very robust. There's a lot of stuff in this course. So I want to give this to you so you can kind of do like a little self-study, while you're working with me. And all these things, really my goal with it is to teach you one-on-one what you need to know to detox for the rest of your life. So it's an investment in yourself, that where you'll have the tools and the knowledge. You'll know what metals you have, what supplements detox you. You'll ask me all of your questions. You get unlimited email support. Your email is returned within 24 hours. Sometimes on weekends, not as reliable because I have to take a break. But even usually on the weekends, I'm usually answering emails as well. But I'm very, very dedicated to my clients when I'm working with them. That's why I only take about 15 people at a time, because I want to be able to give you that personalized support that you need and answer all of your questions that you have, and do it in a very timely manner. Because I know it's frustrating when you're ill, or you're having a reaction, or you're scared about something, or really concerned about something, and there's no one to help you. And I know what that feels like. And so when I was first starting out with my healing journey, I got so much amazing support with the practitioners that I was working with, that I thought, if I'm working with people, that is what I want to do. That's who I want to be. I want to give people the support they need, and they want, and they deserve when they're sick. And so that's what my dedication is to you, is when you're doing this program. I'm very glued to my email and my phone, which may not be so healthy, but it's healthy for you. And so that's what I like to do personally. But I just can't take that many people and provide that level of service. Just really feel bad for, a lot of medical doctors, or people that, they have 6,000 patients, or they just see 20 people a day. I mean, they just can't serve that many people. There isn't enough time or energy in the day. They can't serve them probably in the way that they want to. So for me, I'm doing things the way that I want to. I want to be able to help you as much as I can, and just answer all of your questions, and just send you on your way after this program, so you just know what to do, and you're feeling better, and you can get back to your life, and how to detox yourself for the rest of your life, because you have to. Detox is a lifestyle. This is not something where you just do it for a few months and you're done. You're exposed to metals and chemicals in the air, food, and water every single day. And this is only going to intensify with the more people on the planet, and more manufacturing, and more kind of, violation of the earth, where we're drudging up all these metals to put them into our microphone and computers and cell phones. There's metals everywhere that are used. They're coming from somewhere. They're mined out of the earth. And as a result, they get into the air, food, and water, and affect our metabolism on every level, and our metabolic functions in every way. So my passion is to teach people about this, and help them get better. And you learn what you need to know for the rest of your life. And so that's enough about that program. But if that's too much for you, we also have, you don't need that many tests and all this stuff. I do have my regular coaching program, where you get 2 or 3 tests. And you can see that on this page, on this link, and you can vouch for that one as well. That one is amazing, gives you lots of information about your metals that you have, and a customized supplement protocol. So that's a package that's great as well. Or if you want to do my Myers Detox protocol that I've developed over the last 10 years, you can do this with one of our Myers Detox protocol practitioners that I've personally trained and personally oversee. And so you can see that right here. If you click on this link, you can learn more about just doing the Myers Detox protocol, which is based on a hair mineral analysis. And you can do that test and get a custom interpretation and supplement protocol and unlimited email support for a few months. You get a lot for this price point on there. So you can click on here and learn more about that. And so I want to talk about some examples of the power of heavy metals testing. So I've worked with a lot of health celebrities, a lot of people. Like I've worked with Ben Greenfield. He's a world famous, athlete and podcaster, and he had manganese poisoning from his well. And this is for sure going to dramatically impact his performance. Manganese causes fatigue. So he was super happy to discover this. And he got a filter for his well for manganese specifically. He did a test, found out he had manganese toxicity, and he's, getting that out of his body now. I've worked with Dr. Joel Mercola for I've worked with him for many months, doing Nest Health bioenergetics and doing a lot of different metals testing. And for him, this is the last frontier in his health. He decided that he wanted to really focus on detox. He was just doing all these things for his health. I mean, he's Dr. Mercola, he's the god of health. And he just felt like he needed to start detoxing and wanted to discover what metals he had. So I've been working with him. And I have other clients too, like Jen. She said that I'm actually feeling really good. This is someone that came to me chronically ill, chronically fatigued, couldn't work. She said that she felt good enough to fly to Tampa and do the Nest Health Foundation's training, which was pretty insane for me. She said, my energy is still really low, but my mind is so much better. It's pretty much a miracle. I'm even thinking about reopening my herbal practice or going back to work. I really never thought I'd be this well again. And I'm looking forward to the next phase of metal detox with you. And I just love getting these emails from people and people telling me like just how grateful they are and thankful they are that they're just essentially getting their life back. It's changing their life when they're addressing toxins in these unconventional ways. And my client, Mary, she said that she's been to doctor after doctor and finally can't believe that she finally knows the cause of her health issues, arsenic, lead, and thallium toxicity. And she told me that she finally has hope. And she said that and when we were talking, that she felt like she wanted to cry. She was tearing up because she had just been to so many different doctors and no one had any answers. These very intelligent people, but they're just not doing metals testing. The metals are just not on their radar. Or if metals are on a practitioner's radar, they're not looking at everything. They're not looking at thallium. They're not looking at cesium. They're not looking at gadolinium. They're not looking at all these different metals that can dramatically affect people's health. It's not just about mercury and lead and arsenic. And Mary said I was able to tell my trainer why I have what I have. Thank you so much. I could start crying right now because after 9 years of looking and spending money and time and energy, I was finally able to discover with you what was going on, and that was very emotional. And then Deborah said, since I found out what metals I have and have been detoxing, I'm feeling like I have too much energy. She said, I don't feel tired at night and I'm not lying awake for hours, not sleeping. I'm also exercising again now with no recovery problems, 4 to 5 times a week. So energy is great. I'm feeling great and I've lost 7 kilograms. And then Natalie said she has a much better brain functioning. She's a computer programmer, and she said she can hold longer chains of command in her head. She's tracking this because she has to do this all day long. And she said she has more energy. She can exercise now and was able to travel for the first time in a long time. And then Sharon, she said, I just wanted to thank you so much for all of your knowledge. Getting metals and toxins out for me is one of the hardest things to do without getting massively sick. Ness has opened the doors, and the protocol you told me to do is actually starting to work. Even if it's baby steps, it's a miracle. I can do anything to pull them out. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate your help. The burden of trying to figure things out myself was just too overwhelming. I had been doing it for over 20 years and just trying to hang on. And now I tell everyone about you and Ness. And my husband really likes what you've been doing for him. His attitude about doing this, the detoxing, has changed dramatically because he loves the results. And so it's just really rewarding. I mean, this is why I do this, to help people, to help you guys, to educate you guys and help you put those pieces of the puzzle together, those pieces that you may have been missing, or just, that something's wrong, there's metals, there's chemicals, but you're really not quite sure what you have or how to detox it, or how that relates to your symptoms. I'm trying to make all those connections for you guys and help you detox. So one way I can do that is helping you one-on-one. So like I said, there's a link here. If you want to work with one of my practitioners that I personally train, you can certainly do that. But I also want to put back up here, if you want to work with me personally doing my platinum coaching program, there's 15 spots available. So I encourage you to take advantage of it. And basically, just in closing, the increase in toxins in our environment plays such a huge role in the increased rates of disease that we see today. You can ask any older doctor, many of the health issues that they see today didn't exist at all. There was not a term for them, or they were so rare in the past, like just even in the 1980s, that they only saw a few autism cases in a year. Like Dr. Bruce Jones, our medical director, said he would see one autism case in a year. He was a family medical practitioner. And today they're seeing health issues at younger ages, getting diseases of old age like dementia, children getting diabetes, having heart blockages, teenagers having chronic fatigue syndrome. I mean, this is not just because of our diets. Diet does play a role, but toxins play a larger role. Toxins are the number one primary driver of disease today, and you have to add detox to your health regimen. You have to learn how to do it correctly. You have to learn what metals that you have and what supplements you need to remove those and mineralize your body in order to get this stuff out. And so it's just not a complex process, not overly complex, but you just have to know how to do it. And so it's better to test, not to guess, and do a focused detox. And so enough said, why don't we go to some of you guys' questions? I know you guys have so many questions here, so I'm going to put my glasses on so I can read these. And so let's see. Okay. So the first things first. So Sandra Jean, thank you so much for joining us from Canada. And Theo, thanks for joining us. So Christine, so hi Wendy, can you explain how the Nest Infoceutical fat loss works in your store? I'm having trouble getting rid of body fat and thought I would try the fat loss infoceutical from your store. So this is a Nest Health infoceutical. It's in our store. And this works by just helping your body to metabolize fats. It helps your liver to metabolize fats, and that's how it works. So it increases fat loss in that way. And it's really funny because when Harry Massey, who's the founder of Nest Health, who developed these infoceuticals, when he was trying to develop this is a request of a client he was working with, a very wealthy man, who is kind of a jerk. He asked Harry to create an infoceutical that would help his wife lose weight. That's how it came into existence. And so him and Cyril Burke worked, who's the head of Nest in Australia. They worked to create this infoceutical and help the body to lose fat. And they didn't get it quite right because they gave it to her and she gained weight. And so they realized they had the formula backward. And so they tweaked it. And then after that, she lost weight. But it's a really, really funny story. So it essentially just helps your body to metabolize excess fat, essentially. And so Jenny, so gonna get at my near infrared sauna any day now. Excited to get all the benefits. Yeah, so I just did a webinar about Sauna Fix near infrared saunas. So if you guys want to learn more about that, it was an incredibly in-depth interview and deep dive on near infrared saunas and how to maximize near infrared saunas, stuff like you would not be expecting to hear. You can go on myersdetox.com, look anywhere on the sidebar, go to any article or podcast, and on the sidebar you'll see a little box that says infrared sauna Q&A. You can go there and sign on to that webinar and tune in. And so next thing, Joanna, so please talk about coffee enemas, detox baths, and castor oil packs. So with coffee enemas, those are a very important aspect of the Myers detox protocol and a great way to mechanically detox the liver. I should probably do a webinar just on coffee enemas. But I did do a deep dive on that on a video on my YouTube channel. There's a couple and a podcast about coffee enemas. I would encourage you to go to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Wendy Myers and tune in and watch that and do a deep dive with that. Castor oil packs, I think these are great. I mean, I like doing one on occasion when I'm doing a coffee enema. They can really help your liver and help make the coffee enema a little bit more effective. There's actually a really a good one I'm going to be talking about more from Eileen Durfee. She's the founder of Creatrix Solutions. And I'm going to have her on to talk about castor oil and its benefits soon and give you guys some more info on that. And so Charlie Ray, so happy when you're doing this webinar. Yes, I am too. And let's see. So Heather, so you mentioned EDTA. What are your thoughts about ALA? So with alpha lipoic acid, that's something that is, a detox supplement that is probably one of the most talked about detox supplements because it crosses the blood-brain barrier to get toxins out of our brain. And your body has to have certain substances to transport toxins out of the body. It needs ALA, it needs vitamin C, it needs glutathione and things of that nature. So the issue with ALA, like regular alpha lipoic acid, is many of them are half synthetic. So if you look at the ingredients, some will say R lipoic acid and L lipoic acid. If it has those two things in it, it's half synthetic. And not only that, but it's water soluble. So if you have a fat soluble lipoic acid like sodium R lipoate, like the super lipoic acid from Life Extension, that is one that is fat soluble, and it's 10 to 20 times more effective than the water soluble ALA, alpha lipoic acid. So just much, much better for you. And that detoxes a whole host of metals, mercury and other ones. Very, very effective. Removes arsenic as well out of the brain. And so it's something that I definitely use. I give that to almost every single client, but I don't use regular alpha lipoic acid. And so Wendy, so I've heard Ari Whitten mention that he likes the sunlight and solo, but how does one towel off the sweat if you're enclosed in that? So, I think the only reason I would recommend someone buy a sunlight and solo is if they just did not have room at all for a regular sauna. And so that's really the reason I have that on my store. I mean, it's something that's a great thing if you don't have space. If you have space, I recommend a Sauna Fix. It's a near infrared bulb sauna, much, much more effective for many different reasons. And Eileen was saying she's the maker of the Sauna Fix. She even has clients that you can break it down and take it apart so quickly. She has someone like in a studio apartment in New York, and they set it up, use it, break it down, put it under their bed, and that's how they use it. So you can still use a regular sauna even if you don't have space. So the solo would not be my first choice. I would get a regular Sauna Fix sauna if you're able to do that. And so, Melinda, so we have severe thunderstorms happening now, so I might miss this. So sorry about that. You'll get the replay. Don't worry. If you missed any part of this webinar, if you tuned in late, you're going to be emailed the webinar. Any webinar we do, you're always going to be emailed the replay, and they always go up on my YouTube channel as well. So don't worry. And so Joanna, with EDTA, do you need to do IV or can suppositories work? So I don't ever recommend IV to people. That can really be destabilizing to some people, especially if they're very, very ill. It can be a little bit too much. So 3 suppositories of EDTA in a week period has the same clinical results as 1 session of IV EDTA chelation. And so that can be a lot cheaper. It's a lot easier and saves time just to do it at home. So I use EDTA suppositories because I find that liposomal EDTA by some brands just does not have a high enough concentration. You cannot take a capsule of EDTA. It's not going to work. It's just going to have very, very low percentage of EDTA and absorption. We don't absorb EDTA orally. If you do a liposomal EDTA, this is a different story. You're going to dramatically increase the absorption, but you have to take a lot of it to get the same effect. So I prefer suppositories for that reason, and just as effective as IV EDTA. And so we have those in our store too. They're called Chelotox. So those are in the Myers Detox store, store.myersdetox.com. So Samantha, so I have high bismuth levels. Do you have any suggestions for detoxing this heavy metal? Yes. So number 1, you can detox bismuth with modified citrus pectin. That's going to remove the majority of heavy metals and chemicals. Even glyphosate will remove bismuth and other metals. And it's really amazing how many different metals are removed with the citrus pectin and modified citrus pectin. But for bismuth in particular, you can also remove this with BioSil. And my activated silica as well, remove bismuth. We don't really talk about that because it's not a very common metal that people find they're toxic in, but bismuth does remove that, or activated silica does remove bismuth. Diatomaceous earth will also remove it, but I don't recommend it because if you have leaky gut, it can get into your bloodstream and cause problems. So there's better ways to skin that bismuth chicken than diatomaceous earth. And then, like I said, the modified citrus pectin. So doing those 2 supplements is really probably the most effective for getting that. And so thallium, so Melody Swan, thallium, how do I detox thallium and lead? So thallium, you want to use my activated silica. That's going to be the most effective for removing that. You can also use Prussian blue, will detox that as well. For lead, I usually recommend EDTA. And so that's going to be the most effective for lead. But also lots and lots of things remove lead, fortunately, because it's so prevalent in our environment. Cilantro extract. So my CitraCleanse toxin binder is great for lead because it has citrus pectin, cilantro, and fulvicumic, all of which detox lead. But there's lots of substances. You can also do EDTA, suppositories, probably the number 1 thing I recommend for people who have severe lead, which most people do. It's just not evident yet on tests because your body stores away lead in your bones and aluminum in your bones. And so that's usually some of the last things to come out, but they do come out eventually if you're detoxing long enough. And then there's things like the modified citrus pectin works as well. Sodium marlypoate works as well. Zeolites get rid of lead. Curcumin, garlic. Then there's NAC, N-acetylcysteine. Vitamin C will get lead as well. And taurine will get it. And regular alpha lipoic acid as well. So lots of things remove lead. And so Rosalie, what's the best protocol as I live in a moldy home? So as far as lead is concerned, as far as mold is concerned, the best protocol is to move. Unfortunately, the mold remediation doesn't always work, or people don't always do it correctly. I lived in a moldy home and I got an air filter. It's called the Fresh Air filter. It emits ozone, and that goes into your home and kills everything. And so that's what I would recommend getting. It's called the Fresh Air filter. We have a podcast about it. It's called the Fresh Air Surround System. So if you listen to my podcast with Michael Jackson, not the white glove, Michael Jackson, a different person, you can listen to that. And there's links on that podcast to learn about the Fresh Air filter. That's what I recommend if you're not able to move, because it'll kill all the mold in like a 3,000 square foot home. So that's what I recommend. And so, Lori, so will these detox methods still work if you have undermethylation? Yes. So it doesn't matter what your genetic composition is, that we will find a way to work around to help you to detox. So that's not a problem. And so, Christine, so any tips for helping to reduce belly fat? By the way, beautiful backdrop. Yes, I'm in a rental home right now because there's a pipe that burst in the home I was in, and the landlord decided that it was time to replace all the plumbing in the entire home. So I had to leave for about a week. I didn't really have any notice. I just came home on Saturday night and got, I don't think I can sleep here. The entire house is torn apart and there's dust everywhere. So I had to move really, really quickly. Just like, God, unbelievable. So I'm in a really cute rental home. And so thanks for noticing. And so any tips for reducing belly fat? Yes, I have a lot of tips. So, infrared saunas are probably one of the best ways to go about, speeding up fat loss, because if you exercise while near infrared bulbs are shining on you, you increase weight loss by over 400%. And there's just something about the red lights and how it just activates your body. It just really accelerates fat burning. And also you can do niacin flushing while you're doing a sauna that causes fat cells to burst. But that can really bring a lot of detox symptoms. So you might want to do that when you're kind of down the road a little bit, those advanced detox strategies. And also, arsenic. Arsenic is a big cause of resistant weight loss. That was a big harbinger for me because I'd just been eating regular chickens and eggs, and really one of my favorite foods was El Pollo Loco. I just thought of that as a health food. You know how it goes. Back in the day when you thought that was really healthy, chicken, rice, and beans, right? But it's, full of MSG and chemicals and arsenic. And that's in the chicken feed that those conventional chickens are fed. And so this arsenic poisons enzymes that transports triglycerides out of fat cells. And so even if you're like that hamster in a wheel, you're on that treadmill and you're trying so hard and you're just doing that every morning, waking up at 4:30 to get your hour workout in and doing all this stuff, it really can be counterproductive because of toxins that you have. So arsenic is a big problem. Obesogenic chemicals need to be detoxed. So the best way to go about that is to do a complete detox program, like the Myers Detox Protocol, or just do infrared saunas and take binders. You can take My Citra Cleanse. It's kind of like an all-in-one toxin binder that gives you, mineralizes to push out metals, cilantro extract to bind on to a lot of different metals, and a binder, the grapefruit pectin, to also catch all kinds of toxins and obesogenic chemicals. So this is a great all-in-one supplement that I developed to help you guys to have a simple detox solution. You can do that in sauna and do that on a daily basis and do a low carb diet. It's probably one of the best ways to attack that belly fat. And so, Heather, so what's your favorite way to clean vegetables? I know there's a lot of copper in or on organic produce. So how I clean vegetables is I do half hydrogen peroxide, and I use half vinegar, and then I put a little bit of soap, and that's some just natural soap, like a Dr. Bronner's. And you can add some of whatever your favorite essential oil. And then I'll remove the majority of toxins on vegetables, or even remove some of the wax that can be on them. if they're store-bought. And you can even soak those. It's even better to soak vegetables in that solution to really get the most stuff off of them. And so that's how I do it. And so Steve, so from an article on Earth Clinic about brain cancer, they said the best chelator for lead is lemon juice and baking soda. That's interesting. So I really, for lead, that's not going to get into the deeper tissues with the lemon juice and baking soda. I'm all for those. I think lemon juice is amazing to drink for a lot of reasons. It helps your liver and it helps break up, oxalates in your body, which a lot of people are absorbing too much of because they have leaky gut. It can break down kidney stones, lots of health benefits. I take baking soda, aluminum-free baking soda on a regular basis, especially if I kind of not feeling so hot, or I'll do baking soda probably at least once a week, sometimes more, in some water. And it certainly can help with lead and other toxins, but if you have lead toxicity, those are not going to be good enough. They're not going to be strong enough. And those could maybe fall into like detox methods that they work, but they're not going to be as effective as like a chelator like DMSA or EDTA. And some of the problem with metals is they're so deeply embedded in our tissues that they're not just coming out on their own. They need coaxing. They need several different methods. So mineralizing is number one. Minerals help the body detox better, push metals out of detox enzyme binding sites. And then we also have substances like EDTA, but you also have to take binders as well. But, substances like EDTA will get into deeply embedded tissues and pull out that lead and also help get it out of bones. And the baking soda and lemon aren't going to do as good a job as that. But definitely on the surface, they'll get stuff. So Christine, so what are your thoughts on taking GABA with liposomal melatonin as a supplement? Yeah, I don't see any issue against that. Liposomal melatonin really helps the brain to detox. And I think a lot of people are deficient in melatonin because of EMF. EMF is really, really irritating the pineal gland and shutting down melatonin production. And that's just going to be worse with 5G. There's 5G in my area. I don't worry about it because I have my pendant. I wear my Pure Harmony pendant, so I'm not as worried about EMF. But if you don't make enough melatonin, it's a good idea to supplement with it. So liposomal melatonin works for people, even with regular melatonin does not work. And GABA is fine to take if you need GABA. Some people don't make enough. They don't have enough GABA receptors. So GABA is really, really helpful for them in reducing anxiety. Also taking lithium. Everyone has lithium deficiency. So just taking some lithium orotate, which is really cheap, helps to make more GABA as well. And so Christine, is potassium sorbate unsafe as an additive? I seem to see that a lot. I'm going to pass on that for right now. But so Linda, can you describe the Nano-V use, benefits, etc.? Yes, the Nano-V is a really, really interesting device. It dramatically can upregulate your body's ability to detox. And it has so many different benefits. It's probably better to get more information from the podcast I did with the makers, with Rowena and her partner that developed the Nano-V. So look up Rowena Gates and Nano-V, and you can learn more about that. It's something I use on a daily basis. It's just part of my morning routine. And it's essentially what it does is you're breathing in biophotons, essentially, and negative ions, and just there's a lot to it. There's a lot what's going on, and athletes are using it. They increase their performance. They increase their recovery rate. You increase your body's ability to detox. It's a little complex to describe exactly how that happens, but on the podcast, I'd recommend listening to the podcast with Rowena Gates to learn more about that. So Helen, so I've been through an eating disorder years before and have gained more weight than I was before, despite eating average or less. Yeah, and unfortunately, this does happen. sometimes, because when you're starving yourself or doing yo-yo dieting or laxatives or other things, you damage your body's metabolism. And so I've seen this with a lot of clients, especially clients doing like HCG and doing like medical induced weight loss, and especially, doing bariatric surgery and things like that, really damage their metabolism. And unfortunately, they have this, and they slow it down. So once you start eating, your body just, I'm in starvation mode. So when you do finally eat, it's just storing all of those calories, anticipating further starvation. So it's a survival mechanism, and it can take time to retrain your body to get out of that mode. In the meantime, you kind of have to deal with that and suffer through that, but also have awareness that toxins can play a role in your body's ability to regulate blood sugar properly, in increasing fat storage, in a lot of different mechanisms that contribute to resistant weight loss. And so doing infrared saunas can help to counter that. Metals also interfere in thyroid function as well, and your thyroid function sets your metabolism. So a lot of different things have to be looked at. You also have to look at your food sensitivities. You're eating foods to which you're sensitive. Those are going to promote inflammation and weight gain. So you have to look at all these different factors and just kind of tick them off one by one by one. All of us women have to do that. Because as you get, sorry, I'm losing my voice. I'm gonna have some Manuka honey here. So a lot of women find eating disorder or know that as they get a little bit older, their metabolism starts going haywire, their hormones start going haywire. If you have a lot of estrogenic chemicals, or can't metabolize and get rid of excess estrogen, that's also going to contribute to weight gain. There's so many different factors. I actually started writing a book about this, like 5 years ago, because it was really my favorite topic. I was very passionate about weight loss and, really diving deep on the research on why I personally was not losing weight like I did in the past, and was just wanting to figure out why. And one day I'll finish that book, but in the meantime, I'll just talk about it. But there's a lot of different reasons. There's like 12 different roadblocks to weight loss. And so you just have to look at all these different things. I have lots of content articles on my website about weight loss. I should probably do a podcast about that, just to delve into this. But in the meantime, that's the long answer. And you just, a lot of different things you have to look at. It's not just the eating disorder that's contributing to that from the past. So, Joanna, can you give the name lab for the urine test, stool test, and detox genetic tests? Which specific test do you recommend? So for the urine and stool test, I use doctor's data, and I like those a lot. Trace Minerals International is also a great lab as well. For the detox genetic test, there's a great company called IQU that does detox genetic testing. Also 23andme.com. They probably test the most detox genetics. So that's what I'd recommend. 23andme.com is the cheapest. And you run that through Sterling's app, and that gives you usable data that you can interpret. Linda, can Nest Health and My Health address a majority of the body's toxins? So for Nest Health and My Health is like a little, I don't have mine here, but it's a little device, looks like a cell phone almost. And it sends correct operating instructions on energy waves to your body. It's one of the protocols on a Nest Health program that you can use that correct the issues found on a Nest Health scan of your body. And so for Nest Health, it definitely helps the body detox better because for me, my liver constantly comes up. My liver and my thyroid on almost every single scan come up. And so by doing the corrective protocols, I've helped correct my liver functioning quite a bit. And as a result of that, my body's detoxing better. And so a lot of clients, like their kidneys will come up, or their thyroid will come up, or their skin will even come up. or they'll have different energetic blocks on their detox organs and or even in their digestive tract. And when you have, say, blocks in your small intestine or other absorption organs, if you can't absorb nutrients and minerals, you're not going to detox as well. If you don't sleep, you're not going to detox as well. Ness can pinpoint that and correct it. If your mitochondria aren't making enough energy, there's energetic blocks or just, things not working right in your cell, Ness can pinpoint that and correct it. And it can also help your body to metabolize certain toxins better. So there's a lot of different ways that Nest Health improves your body ability to detox, especially if you're very, very ill, if you're bedridden, or if you just have a serious health issue. Nest Health is great in that regard to get that ball rolling. And it's key if you can't detox, if you just have tried all these different things, you can't take supplements, you just can't do anything, you're super food sensitive, Nest Health is the way to go. Because what else are you going to do? You can't take supplements, you can't do functional medicine. People can be very frustrated. So Nest Health is what I use with that population. So it absolutely does help you detox. It's not the only thing you can do. It's a facilitator, but you still have to take detox supplements and do detox protocols like infrared saunas and the whole lot, the things that I talk about with the Myers Detox Protocol. So Charlie Ray, so where do you go to get this Nest Health scan? You don't go anywhere. You do it at home. That's the beauty of it. Everything we do here at Myers Detox, you can do it at home. And so we send you a little scanner. It looks like a little mouse. And you can do this, apart from this whole, platinum coaching program. You can do any of this stuff I'm talking about on an individual basis, just if you want to just try one thing. But you just get sent a little scanner. It looks like a mouse, takes literally 30 seconds to do. And then you do an appointment with a practitioner to review the scan over the internet. It's a program called Zoom. You click a link, it opens, and you're having your appointment. It's very, very simple. I'm like losing my voice because I want to keep talking to you guys. I've been talking for almost 2 hours. But my voice at some point says, please stop talking, lady. But I'm going to keep going. Okay, so Julie, so does homeopathy work? If you have parasites, metals, candida, environmental toxins, leaky gut, viruses, stress, the whole gamut, what is the typical order to sort through it? So homeopathy it definitely works, and we know that it works. And it's used all over Europe. It's approved for use in Switzerland and hospitals. I mean, there's lots of evidence that show that it works. I don't honestly know a ton about homeopathy, but Nest Health is like the evolution of homeopathy. I think it's a far more effective because Nest Health uses a scan to scan your body and find out exactly what's going on with you and the priority in which these issues need to be addressed. And that gives you an energetic remedy to correct that issue. But so it's not homeopathy. It's just like, it's hard to explain. It's Nest Health's proprietary information in this infoceutical that sends, say, correct operating instructions to your thyroid, correct operating instructions to your kidney or your liver meridian or whatever the deal is going on. So I don't recommend homeopathy, though I know that it works. So I prefer Nest Health. I prefer using software and diagnostic tools to get information to and act upon that rather than someone guessing. But there's definitely very, very talented homeopathic practitioners. But I think, it takes someone with a tremendous amount of experience to be able to do that correctly and implement it. So I just prefer using software. So if you have all of these things above, the order to sort through it, number one, you want to do something that's going to improve your immune system functioning and increase energy production. And so it's not just about going in and like, let's just kill everything. Let's kill the parasites and the candida and the toxins. And, there's only so much of that works because the environment, the host is providing the environment for those things to thrive. So you have to provide an environment that does not foster those things. So that is a mineralized body. That's a well-rested body. That's a well-nourished body. That is a body that you're in maximizing energy production. And so those are the foundational places to start. If you're doing those things, the next thing I would probably do would be nest health, because that can really get the ball rolling, improving your immune system functioning so it can address these things on its own. But I always like people to be stabilized before we're really going into doing a lot of detox, a lot of heavy detox stuff. And so that's kind of the order in which I would do things. So great. So whose software do you recommend for DNA raw data? I like 23andMe. That's the best one. And then I run it through Sterling's app. So I think she has the best app out there. So you run it through that and you get the usable data, because 23andMe was kind of, it has some, they're not allowed to give you as much information as they used to give you. So you have to take that raw data and run it through an app to get usable information that's interpreted by a practitioner. So Julie, so what stage of detox do food intolerances start to disappear? So that's just that's a different answer for every person, because metals interfere in immune system functioning, namely cadmium and lead and arsenic and mercury. They interfere in the immune system functioning in many different ways. And so they can promote the immune system to malfunction and attack foods that are innocuous, that are harmless, blueberries, strawberries, green beans, what have you. And so, so removing toxins can go a long way, but that's a long road to remove metals, to restore immune system functioning. It's part of that process. But doing nest health is we see a lot faster results with nest health in removing food intolerances. Some people, it's like in a week, like Sterling Hill. Other people, it can take a year. So your nest health scan or your body may have other priorities than you have, other symptoms that need addressing before. There's really neat. There's like this old-fashioned 1950s car caravan going through my house. Driving down Main Street in Huntington Beach. So cute. There's like 50 cars that have driven by, it seems like. So food intolerances, like nest health is my number one for those things. So that's what I recommend for that, because nothing addresses immune system issues like nest health. And so Cheryl Ann, so osmium is a heavy metal used in preparing tissue for electron microscopy, which I did for about 8 years. During, I'm sorry, I don't see the rest of your question. I guess it got cut off for some reason. So Tim, is the Bruce Jones you're talking about in Melbourne, Australia? Yes, it is. That's one. And he's our medical director. So do you include chelation in your detox? Yes, I do. So it just depends. Every person's different. I said earlier that about a quarter of people need EDTA and less than a quarter need DMSA. It just depends on their heavy metals. And so, but I don't use IV chelation. I don't recommend that. Some people want to go do that, and I work with them if that's something that they want to do. And I'll work hand in hand with their medical doctor doing that. But many people can get amazing results just using suppositories for those. So Julie, so how do you test with people from overseas? I have clients all over the world. That's the beauty with Myers Detox. We want to work with anyone, anywhere in the world, no matter where you are, we can help you. All the tests we do, we just send them to you, like with a hair analysis. You just download the forms off the internet and you can send in your hair the same day. You don't have to worry about test kits being sent to you for urine and stool and NES and detox DNA. Those have to be sent to you. But you just send them to the mail, no problem. And so Tim, so what you're saying does resonate. I have done my genetics with 23andMe. Can you interpret them for me? So I don't interpret them like just by themselves. I only do that within the context of doing my platinum coaching program. So lots of amazing practitioners doing that. I recommend Michael McAvoy for that. I recommend Sterling Hill to do that. Those are my top people I recommend, but I don't do that just on a one-on-one basis for just that appointment. I'm sorry. I just, for me, I want to focus on working with people, doing all of the tests, and just really honing in on helping them figure out their detox puzzle. So that's what I focus on. So great. So the buy now button does not work for your platinum program. Well, sorry about that, you guys. Yeah, sometimes we get stuff like that happening. Sometimes it's your browser. So just be careful if anyone is trying to press like the buy now button and it's not really working. You can just switch browsers and then that should work, because it's I'll just check that right here. Everything's working for me. Oh, yeah, no, you're right. So I'll tell our team about that. Unfortunately, yeah, that happens sometimes, but you might want to just scroll down on the page and see if like another one of the buttons is working. And so I'll scroll down and see if one of these other buttons is working. Nope, none of them are working. Yeah, well, so we will fix that right now and see what's going on with that. That happens. And so let's see. So the next question I wanted to answer here, thanks for letting me know that, is so Joanna, so Marilyn, see, what is good to detox? Cobalt. And so cobalt, I don't worry so much about. Usually just modified citrus pectin is what I would use for that. And that's really the best thing for cobalt. But there's some other things that will detox it. Let's see. So zeolites. So zeolites are probably the best thing to remove cobalt. And that's what I'd recommend for that. So let me just text our little person here that works on that. Okay, so next question here. So how much calcium glucarate is generally required daily? So, I actually don't know that off the top of my head. And that's really also going to depend on the person as well. And it's also going to depend on the brand. So I can't answer that off the top of my head. I'm so sorry. So Thelonious, so many of us out here have hypersensitivities so severe that we're unable to tolerate detox treatments. How do you address that? The Nest program is recommended to me for that reason, but I am concerned about aggravations. I've heard you mention before that these can happen. So could you please talk about this a little more with solutions? Thank you. So the Nest program is one of those things where you do the scan and it's going to tell you exactly what your genetic issues, it's going to tell you exactly like where your energetic blocks are and where they are in your body and on your meridians, and then the priority in which you should address them. And so it's really just genius that the 45 years of research that's behind Nest Health, it's ingenious how it works, and it's ingenious how fast it works as well. So if you are super, super sensitive, the empaceutical drops, which are kind of like the liquid remedies that are used on the program, if you're sensitive to them, you can even just do 1 drop of them a day. And I haven't had any clients that like absolutely can't take the empaceutical. Some of them have to like slow down or stop for a couple of days if they are having kind of a shift or a lot happening for them. But it's nothing that's not intolerable. And so you do have to deal with a little bit of discomfort sometimes when you are healing, when you are detoxing, when you are releasing something that it doesn't always feel good, whether that's an emotional toxin or a metal toxin or you're detoxing parasites and you have to deal with certain, symptoms. And this is no different. So it's one of those things you just have to kind of work through these things at your pace, at the pace that you're comfortable with, where you're still functioning. Because I encourage people to kind of put their foot on the gas pedal and kind of push through and kind of push the envelope a little bit to the point where they're a little uncomfortable, but not so much that they're not functioning. But your nest health practitioner will be able to work with you on the best approach to, the best approach to if you're having symptoms. They'll tell you what to do. But I find nest health, the beauty of it is it's wonderful for people that are very, very ill. And so a lot of people don't have any other choice. They're just things that, conventional and functional medical stuff just doesn't work for them. That's why I recommend Nest. So I encourage you to try it. And so Doina, so how do we detox gadolinium? So gadolinium is one of those metals. I'm going to be doing more content on that because it is a metal that there's not a lot of things that detox it. EDTA detoxes gadolinium instead of zeolite. So those are my two go-tos for gadolinium. And and so Joanna, lithium orotate, what's the best way to take it with or without food? And what is the best time of day to take it? I don't think that it matters. I haven't heard of any differentiation on when to take it or not. I mean, when you do take it, it can be, most people don't feel anything when they take it, but for some people, it can reduce their anxiety if they're extremely GABA deficient. And so you can take it with food or without. I don't think it really matters. So just take it. Most people need about 5 milligrams. Some people do better with 10 milligrams. And so that's what I'd recommend. So Miralu, so can infrared sauna blankets help with adrenal fatigue? I was also told that working out is not good for adrenal fatigue. I love doing HIIT workouts for 30 minutes at a time. Just wanted to hear your thoughts. So we touched base on this in my Myers Detox Protocol course. Let's see. And as far as exercise, it depends on how you feel. So if you have adrenal fatigue, and say you go, you do a HIIT training and you're just exhausted for 2 days afterwards, probably a sign that's not right for you at this time. Because when you're doing HIIT training, you're releasing a lot of cortisol, stress hormones that your adrenals make. But if they're not able to keep up with demand, you're going to be really, really tired for a couple of days afterwards. So it's really more about listening to your body. It's not about, oh, I have adrenal fatigue, I can't work out. No, it's about, I think a lot of people are in some stage of adrenal fatigue or chronic fatigue. It's really more about what you can tolerate. So if you can do a 30-minute workout and you're just tired, which is normal throughout the day, then that's probably fine. I'm more about, doing low cardiac output exercise if you're really sick or you're trying to detox. Doing some walking is great to just get your lymph moving and get your get your circulation moving, and doing a little bit of something to get that circulation moving. Infrared saunas are great for that, doing like a passive workout, increasing circulation. And and so I think the button will be working again. So I think there's somebody was in the store playing around with things. So I think that if you guys are interested, this button should work now for the Myers Detox Protocol if you guys want to work with me. And so let me just check this now. Yep, now it's working. Now it's working. Great. All right, so sorry about that. Okay, so tell my staff that's now working. And so as far as the infrared sauna blankets, those are really helpful. I think just an actual infrared sauna is a lot more helpful for detoxification. And I'm not really sure they're going to really help with adrenal fatigue. They may help, relax you, which is nice. So it gets you into parasympathetic mode and a lot of benefits, but they're not going to heal adrenal fatigue, so to speak. So Charlie Ray, I signed up for your platinum coaching. I'm so excited. Finally, super health coming my way. That's great. I'm excited to work with you, Charlie. I'm glad that you're so excited. And as soon as you guys sign up, you'll get a 30-minute orientation call with me. To like the minute you sign up, you get downloaded like a little sheet that shows you, everything that you're gonna like go over on this program with me. Like I'll do a screen share right now so you guys can check this out. Like as soon as you guys get the platinum coaching program, you get this little book here. It's a PDF and it goes over, it's like a little roadmap, like what you're going to get, the kind of the order of the appointments you're going to do, how long they're going to be, and how to book your appointments, like your orientation call, how to book your 7 hours of consult time, and just kind of explaining every test that you get on this program, and how you get 10% off supplements also for 6 months while you're doing this program. So that can be a lot of savings there, hundreds of dollars. And then how to get support. You'll have access to me 24 hours a day. You can email me anytime. Usually I return emails within a few hours even. And then you have our support team. We have 6 people on our support team that guide you how to, fill out the forms or scheduling appointments or any issues or, tech issues you have, what have you. We have someone here to help you. And so that's all the stuff that you're going to get on this program. So I'll turn that off. So Charlie, thanks for joining. And if anyone else wants to join me, the links will work. Now we had, I learned a software programmer working in our store on something and they messing around. So it made the button not work. So sorry about that. So Linda, thank you, Wendy, for giving so much of yourself to help all of us trying to get better health. I'm so appreciative of your sharing information. Yes, it's my pleasure. I'm here to serve you guys. That I wake up every morning so excited to go to work and get to my desk and talk about, what the new supplement that I'm going to be designing and bringing to you guys. I'll give you guys a little sneak peek for you guys listening. I'm coming out with a new supplement called Daily Detox, and it's going to be a fermented broccoli sprout green juice powder, basically with supplements to enhance liver functioning and very low oxalate, autoimmune protocol friendly, just amazing supplement to help you detox. It's like, I grow broccoli sprouts, and broccoli sprouts are the #1 detox food, but a lot of people just don't have that time or motivation or inclination to buy them. Is very expensive. They're not available at most stores, even at Whole Foods. And even if they are, they're not very fresh. So, and they're not, fermentation helps to increase the potency of the detox effects of the broccoli sprouts. So I'm creating this powder that I'm coming out with that you just mix in juice or smoothies called Daily Detox. I'm so excited that's coming. I just got samples of it. So we're just trying to figure out, which flavor we're going to come out with. And I should have that in about maybe 2 months. So you guys heard it here first. And so I just get so excited. I wake up and I'm so excited about what's the next video series I'm going to make, or how I'm going to improve my course, or, just what podcasts can I do and articles can I write, and trying to figure out what information you guys want and how to deliver it to you best. And so it's just really, really, I just have fun all the time with my job and helping you guys to get healthy. And so Joanna, do you recommend using drainage remedies like Bacana to make sure drainage pathways are opening before doing heavy metal detox? Yeah, so there's lots of different ways to go about that, to opening up the detox pathways or the munctory pathways, and Bacana is a great way to do that. Dry skin brushing is tried and true method. And Doing coffee enemas are really one of my favorite things to do as well. And also with the Nest Health program, if you do a scan, you can see if there's energetic blocks on your lymph glands, your lymph nodes, and your lymph system in general. And it helps to clear that. So that gets your body working better by itself, kind of lymph drainage via bioenergetics. It's the detox of the future. So Melody, so can you explain about the genetic testing with 23andMe and then the Sterling app pairing? What exactly is the procedure? So the procedure is just going to 23andme.com, doing a genetic test, getting the results, and just going to sterlingsapp.com and just paying $30 or whatever it is, and then submitting that 23andMe raw data to Sterling's app. And then you immediately get a report back with an interpretation of what the 23andMe raw data means. So 23andMe is, to a certain degree, regulated by the FDA, and the FDA likes to limit the health information or the interpretation of that raw data. So, God forbid people get access to their health information and don't go to medical doctors anymore. So you have to take it upon yourself to go to a third-party app to get it interpreted. But even then, it's still probably going to be Greek, and you need to go to a genetics expert to have that interpreted. And so by the way, I'm a Nest practitioner, and my lead levels are actually on the chart after 8 years of trying everything. Most of their metals are in the normal levels now because of Nest Health for 1.5 years. It is incredible science and revolutionary medicine. Yes, it is. It's absolutely amazing. But for lead, we have so much of it. It's hard to get out. Just do EDTA suppositories. That's the best way. If you've tried everything, it's still not working, it's time to bring out, the big guns and do the EDTA suppositories. That's why I recommend it, because I've seen just talked to and seen people on Facebook that have been detoxing for 8 years or doing different protocols or different supplements. It's just not working. You need to do some course correct. So EDTA and binders, the best way to go about that. Nest gets your body detoxing better. It gets your body detoxing. It facilitates detox. It gets your body working better. It improves your energy, your sleep. It gets rid of emotional trauma. It helps you to bring that up and out, purge it so that you don't have that roadblock anymore. But, it's not an end all be all by itself. It's part of the protocol. Let's see. So Thelonious. So thank you so much, Wendy, for all this great info and for taking the time to answer my questions. My pleasure. So Steve, do you have any favorite fluoride detoxifiers and filters or neutralizers to address fluoride in municipal water supplies? Yes. So iodine is the best way to detox fluoride. And most people are deficient. And so I have a liposomal iodine in the store by Venco. Also, Detoxidine by Global Healing Centers is fantastic. It's a nascent iodine. It's really, really nice. But as far as fluoride, that's really the best way to go about it. Fluoride filters, I really like Pure Effects filters, but most water filters get fluoride. They'll have a stage on the filtration system that gets fluoride, not the Brita or Pure. The fluoride cartridge is big, so most filters that have like 3 or 5 stages, one of those things is just fluoride by itself. So the Brita or the Pure filters it's not going to get fluoride. It might reduce the levels, but really the best way to get all the fluoride is reverse osmosis. So there's a really good company. I'm going to have a podcast with them called pH Prescriptions. And they make water filters that remove fluoride and just all kinds of things. It's really, really, really interesting. I had a conversation with a guy actually last week, and I'm going to get him on the podcast. And got shower filters, which I've never talked about, not enough before, because I haven't found one that I was really impressed with. Like just a shower filter for chlorine and fluoride doesn't really get me all that excited. I want a little bit more performance. So from my shower filter. So I'm going to talk to this guy about that in a few weeks. So Theo, so thanks so much for your wisdom. My first experience with a recommendation has been with Mirror EPF, and it's been working very well. I also bought the Harmony pendant and I'm very excited about that. I watched your video, phytoplankton video today, and I'm thinking of trying it. Any new info on phytoplankton or any new feelings toward it? I love Oceans Alive marine phytoplankton. I take it every single day, and I like it because, and I give it to every person on my program because it's a multivitamin that nobody reacts to. You know, a lot of food-based supplements are superior, but if they've got 50 different vegetables and different greens in them, a lot of people that are sensitive or ill have a reaction to those. If they have an immune system malfunctioning or food sensitivities or leaky gut or whatever is going on with them, they have problems with food-based supplements, even though they're superior. So the marine phytoplankton bypasses all that. It's just a little animal, a plankton, and it's got 180 different nutrients in it. It's amazing. Amino acids. It's got omega-3 fats and other omegas. It's got tons of minerals in it. It's got all the trace minerals in it. It's got magnesium. It has a little tiny bit of iodine. Just so many different nutrients in it. SOD, superoxide dismutase for detox. So just really an amazing supplement, tried and true. So I love it a lot. So I take about 5 dropperfuls a day. Tastes like the ocean floor, not really advocating it for the taste, but it's good for you, so take it. So Jana, are your pendants tested against EMF meters? Yes. So I'm about to get a medical doctor on the podcast. I actually had a podcast with him on Tuesday, but I had to move my house and the internet wasn't working, so I had to cancel that. But I'm doing that next week. He did a study with 33 of his patients and the pendant. We also have a study that's going to be going soon with the pendant and EMF and how it protects. But I did an interview with James Gorin. He's an electrical engineer, and he tests people with EMF meters. So you take the EMF meter and put it on their skin, and then like a cell phone on the other side, and he can see the EMF going through their body or their body's ability to handle EMF. But if they're wearing a pendant, the EMF meter reads 0. And it's because the pendant is protecting them from EMF. So we did a little promotion earlier about, a few weeks ago with the Pure Harmony pendant, which is this pendant, and EMF, and how it protects you from EMF. And there's a video on there with James Gorin talking about that phenomena that he accidentally discovered. And so it does protect you against EMF. And you can measure this with an EMF meter. And so Miralu, so are your pendants similar to what's wearing shunganite or black tourmaline? So no, it doesn't work the same as these minerals. It's very, very different. This was developed by Robert Marking, and he just, I guess, got a digital download, and he just, was directed to create this pendant, and he spent a lot of years kind of learning to read frequencies. He's just like, there's people that are sensitive to frequencies, and he spent a long time deciphering these frequencies and how to read frequencies. And then he developed this pendant to help to balance people's energy field, essentially. And in doing that, he can kind of change your body's energy field so that you're protected from EMF. Your body just working better in a lot of different ways. And he works with all kinds of champion athletes. He works with UFC fighters. He works with race horses. He works with champion water skiers. He works with triathletes and runners and tennis players. And because he's an athlete himself. And so he just dramatically improves their performance after, having them wear his pendant and harmonizing with them. So just lots more information coming about the pendant. It's just really something for me is, really changed my life. I never take mine off except when I'm showering. And because I just know the protection it provides. I've seen hundreds of people harmonize and then come back the next day. Their shoulder isn't hurting anymore. Their sinuses aren't running anymore. They feel better than they felt in years. I got harmonized with the pendant. I felt high for like 4 days afterwards. It was the best I had felt in years. And so that's not something that I say lightly. And so I just had a really profound experience with it. And I've seen a lot of people, very skeptical people, also have the same experience. And so it's just something that I just, one of those things I found that I'm, telling the world about too. Oh, that's all the questions. Oh my gosh, we reached the end of them. So Theo, so I'm very sensitive to certain supplements. So this is exciting news. So okay, I'm gonna go buy on your site now. Sold. Yeah. So all the activation products like Oceans Alive, the company just decided they don't want other people reselling them. They just want to sell it themselves. So we have a link in our store to go get them. So you can't buy them directly in our store, but you can get them on the link. So everyone, thanks so much for joining me. Thanks so much for taking your precious time to listen to me. I really appreciate you being here and sharing with me. And we're going to have a lot more webinars. I have so much fun doing these. And sometimes I do these, sometimes I do Facebook Lives, but I know a lot more of you can participate if it's a webinar. So if you miss any part of this, you'll get the replay. Don't worry, you'll get an email with the replay. We always have follow-up emails also in the newsletter with the replay, and you can watch it on YouTube as well. So thanks so much for joining me. And actually, I had a poll here. So I want you guys to do this poll. Just take a couple of minutes here. And I'm sorry, I was supposed to do this in the beginning. I totally forgot. But just click on the link. Just tell me if you've done a detox before. Have you ever tried to do a detox? And how did that work out for you? Because once you guys start answering, we'll be able to see your answers on the screen. It'll be tallying as you guys are answering the questions. So I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to do that. But yeah, this is a really neat feature of this webinar program. It's so awesome. Because I thought for this webinar, I'm pulling out all the stops. I'm going to just use every possible bell and whistle that this webinar jam has. As I love software and playing with it and using it to help communicate how to detox to you guys. So it looks like, about 20% of you have never tried a detox. 27% said they felt amazing after detoxing. About 13% said yes, but I just feel okay. I didn't feel much different. 25% of you guys said yes, I've done a detox, but I don't feel well whenever I try to detox. I get lots of detox symptoms. And 6% said yes, but I got so ill, I was too scared to try again. And this is very common. That's why I created this platinum coaching program, because so many of you guys, or so many people, have a lot of different detox genetic SNPs or mutations that you're not aware of, that most doctors have no clue about genetics or how to test for them or interpret them, because it takes a long time. I trained with 3 different people and paid them myself out of my pocket to figure out how to interpret genetics. And, I'm still learning. It's still, it's new stuff coming out every day. New genes have studies done on them and whatnot. 23andMe is always, updating what they're offering in their genetics testing. So it's just not a lot of practitioners utilize genetics in their protocols. And so the people that are not able to detox very well or very ill, multiple health conditions, you've got to look at your genetics. You really do. There's even genetic tests that will tell you what medications you should avoid that could kill you. There's a really amazing test called Prometheus that will tell you what drugs you just cannot metabolize based on your genetics, and they will harm you and can cause permanent damage. That's a key thing to have, because so many doctors, they're just hospitals, they are not looking at any of that, but the technology is here. It is. It's just mainstream medicine is very slow to incorporate this stuff, even though the information is available. You have to take it upon yourself. No one is going to be as big a health advocate for you as you are. And so that's why you're here to learn. And so anyone who's gotten very ill doing a detox, they can't do DIY detox. You have to work with a practitioner and someone who knows what they're doing, and you have to look at your genetics as to give a clue as to what's going on, what is breaking down, and how to support that. So again, thank you guys for tuning in and listening. I am going to sign off here. And like I said, if any of you guys are interested in work with me, you just click on this link right here to secure your spot. And we will do an appointment even like this week or next week to do your orientation call. And I very much look forward to supporting you guys or working with you on your detox journey. But there's two different packages. There's a package that just has a hair test and urine test. And there's another package that has all the tests that I talked about on this webinar today. And if that's not a right fit for you, for whatever reason, you can work with one of my Myers Detox Protocol trained practitioners that I train personally myself. And that's some, great test doing a hair mineral analysis, email support, doing a custom supplement protocol. But I wanted to open up a few spots for you guys to work with me. And just really looking forward to meeting you guys. And I'm going to sign off here. I'm losing my voice. I'm like a lot of women. I'll talk till my body just says, you just can't talk anymore. You have to just stop talking. So it's great talking to you guys. And I will see you later. Have a wonderful evening.